Welcome back, Nap Trappers. Hi, Beck.
Welcome back, everybody. Hi, Sally.
Hi, what are you doing
How
this
are we?
weekend? Oh, I just realised this
Oh,
episode will be on Tuesday, but everyone can know what we're doing.
oh yeah. Well,
We're
this week
recording on a Friday. Sally,
well,
read your notes.
surprise.
Footy.
World of footy. Well, actually, because we've had so much rain up here in the mid-north coast, we have had our semi-finals postponed.
Oh,
So my middle child is already through to the grand final, so he's okay. But my
wow.
daughter was playing off to get into the grand final, so it's a major game for her. But it's postponed now, so we're going to be doing all those fun things next week, and then the grand final has been pushed back. So super boring for anyone else listening, but footy is like my world at this stage. I never
So does
thought it
that
would
mean
be.
you've just got a low-key weekend? Or is it,
Yes, I think
yeah.
actually I was going to say to Ben, why don't we go down to Sydney for the day and just go and see
Oh,
his dad, who I love very dearly. But I don't know, it might be nice to wake up and not have to go anywhere too early and
oh,
have
and you've got
plans.
teenagers that sleep in. That sounds
Yes,
lovely.
and yes, it is. It's nice. How about you, Sal? What have you got going on?
Oh, the usual birthday parties. I think there's
Oh,
a slithering snakes party.
oh,
I just like to toot my own horn that last weekend I solo parented from before 5 a.m. until, I mean, luckily I don't stop, I was still asleep until after bedtime. And I had two play center birthday parties,
oh,
one for the 3-year-old
yep.
and one for the 6-year-old. So I couldn't really say, well, you get to go
We
to
would
your
do
friend's party
one.
that
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
was
yeah.
stuck and they were
You
both at
just
play
strapped in.
centers,
Yep.
strapped in, and I did it. And the first one was actually much more low key than I was anticipating, thank goodness. And then we literally just got in the car, fueled by party bags, and drove across town to the next one, which I had a like sweat moustache by the end of that one because it was heaving with people and like
Yeah.
so many different rooms. And I've got one child climbing a rock climbing wall and the other one in a foam pit. And
Oh,
so
yes.
but yes, I did it. So luckily
You
only
did
one
it.
party this weekend. And then I usually like to do, if possible, what I call one domestic and one travel day. So
Oh,
we'll do one day where there's a birthday party or we're just hanging out. We do a bit of rotting on the couch. I might tidy the house kind of thing.
yeah.
And then I like to get out. We go for a drive to the country. We go and do a bigger, more exciting activity as a family.
Oh,
But we
that's
get
nice.
out of the house. We bike ride, scooter, new bakery. I often find I enjoy parenting more sometimes if we're out of the house
Mm, mm.
or doing fun things. I get a bit of
Yep.
cabin fever. So I think it'll be a one domestic and one country day this weekend.
If you're going to the bakery, what are you picking? What's your thing that you pick at the bakery?
Oh, I mean, we are so lucky here in Melbourne, not to like tease you back, but there are some where I stand there and like, I can't even choose. Like everything looks so good. I do like trying most cinnamon scrolls. I like to
Oh,
do a
yeah.
bit of a scroll off
Yeah.
and rate my scrolls. And because I need a lot of icing, nothing dry. I have
Mm.
criteria. So if there's a cinnamon scroll, I will often give that a whirl. So then I have ticked that particular bakery off. And I know, but if anyone is in Melbourne, there is an incredible bakery called Candied in the West in Yarraville. And it is the one where I will stand there not knowing what to pick because
Oh,
everything is absolutely phenomenal. I'll take you back. When you come to Melbourne, I'll take you to Candied.
ooh, can't wait.
I know.
We,
And the coffee cups have a hot pink lid, which is like my signature. I love it's
oh,
my favorite color.
yes.
My
Oh.
signature color. Who am I? Legally
Well,
blonde? Like, come on,
I
Sal.
don't know. You do have a little bit of a red lip. I would have thought red would be
I
your
do. And I
color.
actually got married in a pink wedding dress. I mean, it wasn't a
Oh,
wedding dress, it was a pink dress. But yes, I wore pink on my wedding day. So yeah, it
I
is my
love that.
signature color. I'll double down on that.
We are vanilla slice connoisseurs, so we go to the
Ooh.
bakery test it. We have criteria too. Cannot have
Mm-hmm.
passion fruit on it. Blech.
Oh.
Coconut is out, and if you try and color your icing on the vanilla slice, then you are dead to
Bow. So
us.
no pink icing on top.
No pink icing. But for our New Zealand listeners, see, I grew up in New Zealand. We didn't necessarily have vanilla slice. We had custard squares. which is a
Ooh.
much firmer set
Yes.
custard. It's
I think I'd be
like I
more
love
interested
those.
in that. My
Really,
issue with the vanilla slice is it all just squishes out the side, and I'm
it's
not a
so hard to
huge
eat.
fan of the pastry that they use.
Oh yeah, okay. Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, well
Um,
let's
I want to take
have a
the lid off and just eat the
and then
custard,
eat the custard.
the vanilla. Yeah,
Mm.
I no one
Okay.
cares
Oh my
about
God!
any
Wow,
of
we're
this.
really going. Do we just cut it now? Shall we cut it now and then keep going? Like, let's go
Awkward
into
pause
like
here.
yeah.
No, I love custard so much. And if my mum growing up used to make it in the pot, I would insist that nobody was allowed to touch it until it's set because it gets that skin on top. And
Oh,
I just want the skin. And we call it cussy with a skin.
oh my God! See
Oh,
that
it's
I
my
was like,
favorite thing
no.
ever.
It's like when you make jelly, like jelly in the and then you put it in the fridge, and then it has that disgusting hard little bit on the top. No, that's
Yeah,
not
I'm
for
not
me.
interested in jelly. I want cussy with a skin.
Oh yeah, we used to call it.
Candy
I
Bakery
mean,
does not
you
serve
were
cussy
cussy,
with a
but
skin.
well, maybe this is an Australia versus a New Zealand thing, but we would call it cuzzy. So like
Cuzzy.
not cussy, but cuzzy. We'd have
Custard.
apple pie and cuzzy.
I mean, I do love New Zealand, so maybe I could get involved with that, but I'd have no idea what you're talking about. I'll stick with my cussy with a skin. But yeah,
Maybe it
let's
was
have a
just my
tart
jam.
off and a vanilla, a slice off. A slice
Okay.
off and a scroll off.
Yes.
I'll spare you from the cussy. Okay, well, now that everyone's listened to that at double time or just hit that little 15,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Probably
like seconds.
time and time and time again. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Today we're talking about something that occurs in the sleep training process called an extinction burst. I actually had to, I forgot what we were talking about.
Same, I
don't know if you
was
can
too.
tell.
And then it wasn't
I'm
until you
deep
said
in
it, I was like,
pastries.
yes, actually my favorite thing to talk about. This is a great topic.
It's a really great topic and it's nothing heavy or scary. And, you know, I see it on social media all the time that sometimes it can be like night 3, night 5 of sleep training. And let's just demystify it so that you can rock it if you experience it. Beck, do you want to explain to our listeners if they have not fallen asleep? Maybe they've got their own crumbs on their top list. What we're talking about when we refer to an extinction burst.
So the extinction burst happens commonly when we are doing really well with our sleep training. So for example, we go into the sleep sort of work and we are thinking night 1 is going to be pretty tough. You know, there's some obstacles in terms of, you know, we don't know what we're doing. Baby doesn't know what they're doing. And then we're just sort of muddling through and, you know, creating really clear goalposts.
Just to be clear, when you say we don't know what we're doing, are you talking about the parents or are you talking about you and I?
Oh, yes, it's the royal we. You know, like that whole
guys,
like
I promise we know what we're doing. But yes, I do the royal we too. I'm always like, so then at 5 a.m. we'll just do this. And I'm like, I'm not there at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'm talking about my families.
Yes, okay, great. Because I promise you, everyone, we
know we know what we're doing.
I promise.
Oh my God, we're very excited. Okay, so night
Sleep
1
training is our jam.
Yes, night 1, you've got through it. Night 2, you're reaping the rewards of all of your hard work from night 1. So, you know, night 2 is a little easier. Night 3, typically you're like, wow, that was, okay, we are really kicking some goals here. And if the extinction burst doesn't happen on night 3, then typically it can happen on night 4. So I try and gear families up to sort of understand that your little ones on night 4 are thinking, oh, geez, I like the way we're sleeping at the moment. I'm getting some really good big chunks of sleep overnight. Things are really taking shape. This is quite nice. But actually, I remember that I was sleeping a whole lot differently a few nights ago. And I was waking multiple times, and we had multiple feeds, or you were rocking me back to sleep. You know, there was lots of stuff going on.
I remember being in mum's bed from 10 p.m. till 7 a.m.
Yeah. And yeah, I wonder, and I try and explain it to my families as though it is a process of, oh, I like the way it's rolling now, but I remember it was a whole lot different a few days ago. Am I supposed to be doing the old way or the new way? And so on that night, typically what happens is you may have a really wonky night, which doesn't feel like it's in line with how the last couple of nights have been.
It feels like you go backwards.
Yeah.
Mm.
It does. It feels like you're going backwards. And so if you're not prepared for it, it will feel like something's gone wrong or your
Mm.
little one is unwell or something like that. But what it will typically look like is bedtime might be harder to settle. If you get through bedtime, then there's a chance that your nights are then going to be a little bit wobbly. So maybe there's lots of miniature wakings that you're having to
Mm.
go in and resettle. Or you might find that there is a really long, chunky waking overnight, which you just, is not how it's gone the last couple of nights. You may find that there's a big, long waking overnight. You just get them back off to bed, and then there's another big waking.
Yeah.
It can manifest in different ways. You may find that your little one is just a little bit more restless or a little bit more wakeful and maybe doesn't actually need too much at all, or they need a lot. So it will look different to how the last couple of nights have been. And because of that, your confidence levels start to get a little bit wobbly.
Yep.
And because it feels different, you might start thinking, oh my gosh, what if they're unwell? What if
Yes.
they, what if there is a new skill? What if they didn't have enough calories at daycare? What if,
Mm.
all the what ifs start sort of
Or
coming into
does
the
this not
mix.
work? Maybe this isn't for
This isn't
us. We
working.
had
Yeah.
we had a good run of 2 nights.
Yeah.
This isn't working anymore.
So the key to this is just sort of knowing that this is on the cards
Mhm.
and going in prepared, and you need to start as you mean to go on. So
Mhm.
you just need to back yourself. You need to follow through with absolute consistency,
Yes.
get through the night. You are going to survive on coffee and chocolate the following day. Maybe your eyelids will need matchsticks, but you get through and you
Yeah.
stay the course. Because when you stay the course and you follow suit, then it teaches your little one that the new way is here to stay.
Yep.
And so the following night is typically smooth sailing. You're back on
Yes.
track.
You breeze through it usually.
You breeze through. If you go back to doing all the old things and you panic and you feed back to sleep when that wasn't part of the plan, or you
Mm.
rock and hold, or you go back to co-sleeping, whatever it is that you've done in the past and you revert back to that, what that does in that moment is teaches your little one that the old way is back. And
Mm.
then the next night you're starting from scratch again.
But the difference is that they know the 2 different options, and so it
Mm,
can feel almost hard in the night one where you kind of lovingly take them by surprise with the change.
mm,
We've gone from these heavily parent-led sleep associations, or the way that your baby currently knows how to sleep, and then you sleep train bedtime, and they're kind of like, "Oh, okay. Yes,
mm,
okay. Message received. I'm gonna fall asleep. Great, done it." And then if it creeps back in, you gotta start again. But they're like,
mm,
"No, no, no, no. I know I used to do it, but then you offered this. Like, I really want
mm,
this."
mm, mm. That's
Even though
right.
they don't, because they slept so much better and were much happier when you woke them in the morning after the great successful nights of sleep training.
I think the extinction burst is hard because in the middle of the night, 2 minutes worth of tears feels like 2 hours. So,
Yes.
when you are experiencing like lengthy wakings overnight and so forth, it is really tricky to keep finding that inner strength sometimes just to keep going with the technique or
Yeah.
the method or whatever the plan is. But that's why having a heads up from your sleep consultant is super important, because if you know what you're going into, you can tackle it with that confidence and sort of
Yeah.
knowing that if I just follow through, then the following night will be fine. There's a half of my clients and your clients will have an extinction burst, half of them won't. There's
Won't.
no,
Yep.
there is no,
I can't pick it.
yeah, I can't pick it either.
Mm.
There are also times where you might breeze through without an extinction burst, but then you kind of get to the new part of the plan. So it's usually when you are changing things up. So I'm just going to offer this as an example. A
Mhm.
9-month-old who was waking and feeding multiple times, so 6 times overnight. Now we've dropped to 1 feed overnight, and within the 3 days has dropped to 1 feed overnight, and then we had an extinction burst on night 4. Parents followed through, it was all fine. And then within the next 3 nights, he had moved from a 1 feed overnight to no feeds overnight.
Mm.
So now what happens is, because that's a hot new take on a new kind of night for our little one, there are times when that might create an extinction burst again because it's a brand new scenario.
Yes.
So So night 3 or night 4 of going from one feed to no feeds can have that extinction burst back again. So you've just got to hold steady and just back the process of get through, and then the
Yep.
following night you're back to smooth sailing. So
Yep.
it is sometimes looking at it from a really positive perspective is important as well. So when you're going through those extinction bursts, even though it's really hard, on the flip side of that is really great success,
Mm.
and it gives you that ability to be able to find that resilience to keep going.
To keep going, yeah.
Mm,
Because every time I've had a family that has gone through an extinction burst, which is many, including this week
mm.
with a
Yeah.
family, which for us it actually happened on night 5, which I almost think can be a bit ruder than night 3, because after 4 nights when things have got so much better,
Mm,
night 5, you've sort of settled into the new
mm,
status quo, and that can be like, "Oh my goodness, this is this is a rude shock."
mm.
Um, Whereas night 3 still you're kind of fresh. You're kind of like, "What
Yeah.
will tonight hold?"
Yep.
And this wonderful family followed through. I almost paint without being doom and gloom. Sometimes when I'm having a consultation, I'll almost paint worst case scenario for families of like what you
Mm,
could expect, and
yep.
then everything else is
Yes.
significantly easier.
Yeah.
Babies, it's almost like they hear me. They're like, I'll show you how good I can actually sleep. Like,
Yeah.
I know you told them that have a
Yeah.
2-hour waking, at 1
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah.
I'm going to just breeze on through this. But I think, yeah, it's almost the devil you know. If you
Yes.
think, okay, somewhere between this, it's really normal. This is why we often do 2-week packages, not, you know,
Mm,
just 1 week. We want to be around to support through all of these wobbles that we know as sleep consultants are really natural parts of the process. And I
mm.
do understand it can feel really jarring for families that have maybe even had a tricky time getting to the decision of sleep training, then felt the sweet, sweet relief of like, oh gosh, I wish
Yeah.
we'd done this sooner, only to feel like this is hard. Like,
Mm,
are we going backwards? I often have families think that babies are sick. The way to rule this out is you've seen them all day, you've popped them to bed, but also depending on what your sleep training technique is, you'll definitely have eyes on them at some point.
mm.
So even whether you're cot side, whether you're doing time checked, whether you're in the chair, you will have eyes on them. You will have touched them. They're not febrile. They haven't vomited. So know that that is part of the process as well, and then you'll be able to ride it out. And I think the key is knowing that if you see it through, you will breeze through the rest.
Mm.
That is the
I
key.
and you would be the same, but the countless parents who come to me and have said that they have tried sleep training in the past and they had 3 good nights
Yes.
and then it turned south and they can't pinpoint it. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, oh, if only you'd followed through on the 4th
Yeah.
night,
Yeah.
but nobody tells you about it. Like, it's just not something that is overly discussed a lot. Like, and I'm really happy to be doing a podcast on it, like an episode,
Mm.
because it's super normal, super common, and it's usually the turning point for sleep. If we can get through that, then you've built your own confidence around it. May not look pretty that night, but if you hold steady, the following night will be back to smooth sailing. So just, you know, like,
And I think it's really important to normalize this, but to also normalize that baby sleep success isn't linear. It's
mm,
not that we go from 10 overnight wakings to 0 wakings forevermore.
mm,
Even in 3 nights. It can often feel like 2 steps forward, 1 step, or 2 steps forward, 1 step to the side, and then we navigate
yeah,
that. We are human as parents implementing it. Sometimes even as sleep consultants, we need a little bit more data. Like, okay, how does baby respond to this? How do these timings work?
yeah,
Cool. Then we can
yeah,
flex. It doesn't have to be. It's not success or failure.
mm,
And so by normalizing these really to be expected moments, I think parents are able to sort of see it through and continue to back themselves, as you would say, Beck, because these moments happen even to sleep consultants. I usually
Yeah.
say at the bottom of a sleep summary, it's always, and we would have talked about it, but like it's always worth mentioning that during the sleep training process, it's really common somewhere between usually night 3 and 5. This is called an extinction burst. And I have clients that will come back to me and be like, so on night 3, if they're doing it DIY, on night 3, we had it and we just asked ourselves, what would Sally do?
Yeah.
Which is stay the
Yeah,
course.
stay the course. Yeah, that's it. And I try and encourage families to look at it as a positive, because there are some little ones that just take to the sleep work like a duck to
Mm,
water. And when we're doing sleep work, we're trying to create pattern like response, so whatever
mm,
technique you choose, there will be some element of pattern. And because these little ones tend to have like amazing big chunks of sleep that happen, and we don't really often get a chance to do too much of the actual sleep training technique. This is your opportunity to reinforce the pattern. And
mm.
if you're using it for an hour and a half and you haven't had to really do it over the last couple of nights, it's a really great way to really deepen that understanding of the technique that you're using, so that you're both on the same page if you have to use it later on down the track. That's why it's a positive in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Mm.
I think the more positives we can take out of all of these
Mm.
tricky moments, and just so you don't feel like you might be doing something wrong either,
Mm.
as the
Yeah.
parent that's doing the sleep training technique, thinking, oh, have I stuffed this up?
Mm.
Why did it go from the easiest night
Yeah.
2 and then, oh, have I done this differently? And look, to be honest, sidebar from a true extinction burst, we, like I said before, we are humans,
Mm.
and there are nights where even if it's not an extinction burst, you just handle something a little bit differently.
Mm.
You don't need to beat yourself up about it. You can just think, oh, okay, did this or didn't this work?
Mm.
Great. I understand maybe the next night there might be a little bit of a setback. Now I'm going to follow through.
Mm.
Okay. So if you accidentally, or maybe not accidentally, but you're like, oh, I'm going to do a feed because I've got some doubt. And then you're like, oh, turns out they didn't want the 7 a.m. bottle, for example. Then the next night you just get back on track.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
There is always another day and another night, and you
Mm.
just keep at it. And you don't have to have 3 nights, 5 nights, 2 weeks as your exact timeline.
Mm.
You are a human. Your baby's a human. We all have off nights.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, if there's ever that seed of doubt and you just can't shake it, if you do it, you'll know in that moment if it was the right decision or not. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so that's when you go and like, so this, you have many, many, many of those where
Yeah.
you're like,
Well, the example I
oh,
can think of
hang
is
on.
when you go and think, oh, maybe they were hungry. You've been doing your sleep training, sleep training, sleep training. Oh, they haven't got back to sleep. Maybe they're hungry. You offer the boob or the bottle and they take 30 meals and then pass out. And you're like, oh, it wasn't hunger.
Yeah, it wasn't hunger. But then
But
you come
I
back
like
with it the next night. You're like, I know
exactly.
you're not hungry.
And
Like,
that
and
I think is
that's that builds the confidence, right?
That's it. That's the
Mm.
beauty of doing this as a DIY approach, even if you've got a sleep consultant in your back pocket the next day when you check in, because you are empowered. Sometimes
Mm.
you just got to try. You just got to see
Yeah.
how it feels, how it reacts. And then if you
Yeah.
know the formula and you know what your goal is, then you
Mm.
pivot.
Mm.
Sometimes I have families that really want to start with an in-room approach, and then they're like, this isn't right for this baby. And then
Yeah.
they can make that decision rather than have just a sleep consultant say, this is how you're going to do it. I think it's so wonderful, because then when we sign off after 2 weeks or after a consult, you've got that skill set.
Mm.
You've seen it with your own eyes. You know what happens when you do X, you know what happens when you do Y. And so when you hit moments, life extinction bursts, if you will,
Yeah.
if we get philosophical, you've got it. You've got it.
Yeah, exactly. Got to back
And
yourself.
that's what we want for you.
Mm. I agree. Well, I hope.
Okay, but if
this
you
has
are
been...
sleep training somewhere between night 3 and 5, it can all go a bit
Yeah.
south.
Yeah. Even though you haven't changed anything through the day, like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Yeah. But just stay steady. Just stay with your plan. If you're not, like, say for example, you've got an anchored feed in for the first waking after 3 a.m. and your little one is now waking at 12. You are resettling that with
Mhm.
confidence. You know,
Yep.
just got to get to your feed time after 3 a.m. Like those are the types of things that you just need to be mindful
Yep.
of. Yeah.
You're going to ask yourself, what would Sally and Beck do?
Yeah.
And we are going to say you follow the plan.
Follow through.
Follow through. And we'll see you at 7 a.m.
You've got this.
Yeah, cheering you on through Extinction Burst. And look, maybe we've painted it as worst case scenario and all of our listeners are going to sleep train and none of you will have it. Fantastic.
Yeah. I do the same as you. I do sort of paint the worst case scenario, but mainly because for some families it's really tricky. I don't want anyone to be taken by surprise.
Yeah.
And then others that are sort of like, I'm not sure if that was the extinction burst. It was, I just heard them at 10 p.m. for like 20 minutes and they were just a little bit restless. Was that the Man, I mean, it could be.
Yeah. And I do think sometimes temperament plays a role.
Yes.
Sometimes the more spirited babies, they like an extinction burst.
Yeah. Again, though, you just can't pick it. And what when I think to myself, oh, this little one is definitely going to burr up. No, they don't. It's a really random.
Yeah.
picking.
Now that you say that, even this family this week, I wouldn't have thought it. And because we breezed through night 3 and 4, even I was a bit like, wasn't quite anticipating it. Damn, I thought we'd missed it. No.
No.
That's it. I always tell families, babies love to throw my plan out the window. All right, so that is the episode on Extinction Burst. Hopefully that helps to just normalize something that you may be experiencing. And if you've got any questions, as always, pop them in our DMs, reach out, book a consult. We are here to guide you through it because we get how hard it can be, especially when you're already tired.
That's it. Let us help you.
All right, off to have a pastry now, Beck?
I am going next door to have my pistachio donut. My Friday treat. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I've got a consult in half an hour, so I better get cracking and do all of that. But yes, what about you? You off to have a pastry?
No, but my husband did text me during that episode to say I'm bringing home lunch. So who knows? Maybe there's a pastry. He does know me. The way to my heart is through a pastry. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week on Nap Trapped.
See you, team. Bye.
Bye.